Sure, men like to be successful, not just for the money, but because of what one can do for his community, his country, and for mankind. Business success provides the opportunity to do some of the things most of us dream about doing for our community and its various institutions, organizations, and agencies. Words once spoken by George T. Abell. Words he lived up to. Born in Waukene, Kansas, George Abell grew up knowing what it meant to work hard. He helped on the family farm while earning his degree in civil engineering. But when he moved to Midland in 1927, he trained himself as a geologist and entered the petroleum business as an independent oil operator. A self-made man by all definitions. His friend John Younger describes George as an avid student, one who would research and analyze everything, an ability John believes drove George's success in business. But he was more than a good businessman. He was a good husband, a good friend, and a good neighbor.
He was interested in having little groups of friends together to maybe eat barbecue in a backyard, or to, very often those groups got into singing, and someone would start out with a song and the others would join in. He loved that.
As John recalls, George and his wife Gladys often opened their home to friends and offered their talents, albeit singing, to building a better community. Gladys Hanger Abell was born and raised in Fort Worth, the daughter of a pioneer Tarrant County family. Side by side, she and George made a powerful team. Gladys supported George in all his community endeavors as he served on various boards, including the school district and the Chamber of Commerce, as he led capital fund drives for Midland Memorial Hospital and the Buffalo Trail Council Scout Ranch in the Davis Mountains. For that effort, George received the Silver Beaver Award, the highest recognition of the Boy Scouts. Gladys, too, had her favorite interests.
She supported nursing students, nursing scholarships, anything that had to do with nursing. Well, Gladys was ready to contribute to.
Gladys was also active socially, particularly in the Daughters of the American Revolution and the Garden Club.
It wasn't unusual to go over there and find her digging in the back beds there in some of George's old shirts and trousers. And they always just kept their yard in top-notch shape.
They lived modestly, simply, as George built the business. Steadfast, always looking to the future, George also quietly effected great change in the community.
He was a very bright man. He was a Christian man. He was patriotic, and he knew how to get things done.
One of those great accomplishments, John Younger believes, was a vision born 20 years before becoming reality, the Permian Basin Petroleum Museum.
He had an old warehouse in town, and years and years before the museum, he started collecting old oil field equipment, storing it in that warehouse.
From one man's vision to a remarkable historical tribute, the Petroleum Museum also houses the work of Tom Lovell, an artist researched and then commissioned by the Abells.
Mr. Lovell would come from Santa Fe, where he lived, to Midland and bring sketches or partially painted canvases. And the Abells often invited us to come over and have coffee with him and get in on the discussion. And George was very meticulous. I think that he may not have given Mr. Lovell the idea for all of those paintings, but he did for some of them.
Vision. George and Gladys Abell always looked ahead. And when they enjoyed business success, they shared a vision for Midland and backed it up with the necessary financial resources. During their lives, they gave generously in answer to community needs. But their legacy of giving reaches so much farther. While they were still living, they envisioned a foundation designed to support any benevolent, charitable, educational, or missionary undertaking. Named to honor both families, George T. Abell, Gladys Hanger Abell, incorporated June 14, 1954, as a nonprofit private corporation, with the first tax return showing $5,600 in income. A simple gift by most standards, a seed planted 50 years ago to help grow a community and its people. They had a vision, but they never got to see what would grow from that seed. George died in 1979, Gladys in 1988, their only son Dwayne in 1992. Today, the foundation that bears their names is worth over $140 million, granting $6 to $8 million annually in the areas of education, human services, and arts and humanities.
One doesn't have to look very hard to see that George and Gladys Abell made a mark on Midland. The facades of countless structures stand as evidence of their involvement thanks to financial assistance or to honor the Abells' service to community. Some bear their names. Others don't. But all have been impacted in some way by George and Gladys Abell's legacy of giving. B.C. Forbes once said, "The truest test of a man's conscience is his willingness to commit resources today to benefit individuals in the future whose words of thanks will never be heard." George and Gladys Abell passed that test. They gave, fully realizing they wouldn't hear the words of thanks. But that's what makes the Abells so very special. They gave selflessly, creating a foundation designed for perpetual giving in response to community needs. Still, the desire to thank the Abells is strong among those who have benefited from their generosity. Even though George and Gladys aren't here to accept these words of thanks, they're offered anyway, with sincere appreciation in grateful acknowledgement of the Abells' simple act of giving from the heart.